Akon, it's wonderful to have you on this episode of The Song. We are thrilled to have you.
No, pleasure to be here.
Your friends call you Con.
Right.
Tell me your full name.
Ali never have a good time for the neck a little brother the Akon cham.
That's a lot. Tell me the meaning behind your name.
No, it's more of a tradition. You
It's a
know, like
tradition.
it's a cultural. So every second born of every family is added a name. And it kind of shows you the generation and the lineage. And then it also tribally tells you which tribe you're from by the names that's given to you.
We're going to jump right into Lonely.
Mr. Lonely.
Mr. Lonely, lonely, I'm so lonely.
I should be signing you.
Come on, brother.
You sound like a
I won't
bird.
quit my day
It's a
job,
beautiful
just in
voice.
case. 1.1 billion views on YouTube, and climbing, and counting. Tell me about this song, Mr. Lonely.
Wow, Mr. Lonely is an amazing record. It kind of speaks to my earlier, I think, you could say, portion of my life. That came from the album Trouble. The name Trouble was named by the album because that was around the time where I feel like trouble followed me everywhere I went. You know, I was in a place in my life where I was trying to figure life out. I felt like being rich was the answer to all problems. So my goal was to be rich by any means necessary, you know? And ultimately I made a lot of decisions in the hopes of getting rich. And some of those decisions didn't work out too well. Ended up getting locked up. But the song itself came from me being actually incarcerated in a position where, of course, that's probably the most loneliest place you could ever be. And I got caught up in a few situations where apparently I had, you know, more than one visit, and they kind of bumped each other in the same on the way up. So my main, who's currently my wife, we've been together for almost 30 years now, and she's been there since the day one, but she was actually coming to visit me where she never, ever, like, missed a visit. But as she's visiting me, then I had this little side chick that was also visiting me around the same time. Whoa, and they bumped into each other, right? And she hadn't visited me for like 3 months after that, and it was like the most loneliest moment in time in my life. So that song kind of came through that experience. It kind of, I would say, motivated that hit record.
Why did you decide to have Mr. Lonely himself, Bobby Vinton, at the top of the song? Was that something that you just heard when you were writing?
Yeah, well, interesting enough, when I wrote the record, I didn't even know who Bobby Vinton was. So majority of my first songs that was on the Trouble album, most of them was written while I was in prison. Then I came out and produced it into becoming records. And as I was trying to look for the first concept for Mr. Lonely, I was going through crates, and which we call, you know, going through crates when you're looking for samples or a feeling of a certain vibe through older records that might have worked in the past, or records that you could say can influence into it. And I was going through all these old 60s records because I wanted to feel more like a doo-wop type of vibe. And then I came across Mr. Lonely, the Bobby Vinton record. And I was like, whoa, this is it. But I could not figure out how to make it hip hop, you know? And then I just started messing around on the drum machine with the pads, and as you hit the pads, they go in different octaves. So you might hear the Mr. Lonely, and you hit it and go, Mr. Lonely. And then the high pitched, when I hit that pad, I was like, ooh, I got something. And I just built the whole beat around the high pitched Mr. Lonely voice. And it just so happened that it was a Bobby Vinton sample, and it all came together. But interestingly enough, when we went to put the record out, we couldn't get the record cleared. And the most interesting thing happened because I was always the kind of person, if one obstacle doesn't work, I'm gonna find another way. So when Sony wouldn't clear it, I said, okay, I need to find Bobby Vinton himself. I gotta find this guy, like, where is he? So I started calling around. I reached out to my publishing company at the time, which was Famous Music. And they was like, well, he obviously was a great writer. He himself was going through publishing issues, so he created his own version of the original song, replayed it and everything. So I reached out to him, come to find out, he was playing in a riverboat in St. Louis, Missouri.
Wow.
So I flew out to St. Louis, Missouri, go to the riverboat, watch him perform for the whole night, and I sat in front of him, introduced myself, and he was just so, like, baffled, confused, everything. Like, what is this little black kid coming to see me for? He's a rapper. Like, we have nothing in common. And I was like, listen, I remade one of your older records, and I wanted you to hear it because I want to get clearance if possible. So I played him the record, and he was like, oh, this is amazing. This is incredible. I can't believe you can. I didn't even know my song could be flipped like this, you know? So he was really, really excited. And he said, listen, I did my own rendition version of this that I can give you free clearance on. And I want you to, take it and just spread your wings and, man, you got all my blessing. And we split the publishing 50-50, and he gave me the blessings, and we went off with it.
That's pretty great. And a whole another generation gets to hear his music.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you feel when you perform Mr. Lonely today?
Oh, man. When I perform it today, it's almost like it brings me back to those nostalgic moments when you actually hear a song that brought you back to a history and moment in life that might have changed or affected your life in such a big way. So every time I sing that song, it reminds me of that moment of when I was writing it and where I am today, like how far I've come. So it's not even a song that reminds me of the sad portion of the life of what created that song in the first place. It's more about this is where I was at, in this dark place, writing this record, and now I'm in front of thousands of people singing it back to me, and they can relate to it. So it's more of a celebratory thing when I listen to it now. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
That's good. Are there any special stories on the road that come to mind when you think of Mr. Lonely? Maybe with the fans, or?
I mean, special memories when it comes to Mr. Lonely with the fans. I mean, I think probably the most interesting moment was when I went to Europe for the very first time and performed the record in Germany. Mind you now, 99% of the crowd don't speak English. So to hear them sing, and I think Mr. Lonely it peaked in Germany. It was like one of the biggest markets for that song at that time. So I was naturally booked over there. Couldn't speak a lick of German, and no one really spoke much English. So I was also really curious to see how this was gonna go out, performing for the crowd. But when you go out there and they know every single word to every song, but yet they don't know what they're saying, but they can feel what it is, you know what I mean? So to watch all those people that just was non-English speaking, sing it back, it was I think that might have been the impact of how powerful I realized music was at that moment. And Mr. Lonely definitely gave me that experience.
It's really interesting too, because that song peaked at, I believe, #4 in the United States, but it was a global success. Do you think that was a big part of your international footprint?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I would definitely give Mr. Lonely one of the credits for me growing internationally, because even though it might have peaked at #4 in the Billboard charts, it was the #1 world's largest selling ringtone on the planet. And that's what made me understand and learn or want to understand the music business. Because I couldn't understand how a song could be the biggest ringtone seller of all time, but only peaked at #4 in the Billboards. So that's when I realized, okay, it's either two different charts, two different systems, or there's a lot of politics in play. It was at that moment when I said, okay, my energy goes to my fans, not to the accolades, not to the chart numbers, none of that. Because the fans will tell you truly who and what you really are and what you've contributed to the culture in itself. But yeah, that song was just, it's a monster hit.
And the ringtones, tell me about the ringtones, because you really dabbled in that.
Yeah, so the ringtones was one of those things that I was just always fascinated in anything digital and anything futuristic. At that time, I was really like a geek and a nerd, and none of my homies knew how technical I was, right? So as I'm dissecting my contracts back in the day, I would look at how these things would actually mechanicalize from a place of generating income. So they had this new thing coming where ringtones were like $4.99 for 15 seconds, but then a single you can purchase at the store for $1.99. Right. And I was like, wait a minute, if I can sell 15 seconds of this song for $5? I need to be focusing on that.
Smart move.
And that's exactly what I did. So every record that I made it in a way to where it was very melodic, and I can myself hear it on someone's phone ringing. And I think that mentality kind of drove, because while they're pushing for singles, I'm, beating down companies like Verizon trying to do ringtone deals. You know what I mean? And because of that, honestly, that's what also credited to me being one of the biggest ringtone sellers of all time, and was even in the Guinness Book of Records, World Records, twice for most ringtone sold. So it gave me the confidence to say, okay, anything moving digitally in music, I need to jump ahead of it.
And you haven't stopped on that yet.
I haven't stopped
You're
since
still
then.
rocking
Absolutely.
on that. What did the success of Lonely mean to you at the time?
The success of Lonely, I would say, probably meant more than anything that I can imagine at that time, because I was at a low point in my life where music became what motivated me to feel that and know that I could be a better person. Because for a long time, under the environments that we actually grew up in, we only felt like there was only two ways to make it out the hood. You either was a ball player, whether it's football, basketball, whatever kind of sports, or you was a musician. It was one of the two, right? Anything in between that, most people couldn't afford to go to college, get degrees and masters or whatever the case may be. And the odds of you getting hired by a legitimate company, Fortune 500, whatever, was slim to none, because we all came up with some kind of felony or misdemeanor on our records where we just wouldn't be looked at as equal, right? So between music and sports, those are the only two ways. So when the music started to look like it was going places, it became something that gave me a huge bubble of confidence to say, okay, God is opening up this door through the channels of music for me to become who it is I'm supposed to be on this earth. So I embraced it to the fullest. And I think the success of Lonely opened that door, because Lonely wasn't the record I thought would be the biggest record on my album. You know what I mean? I was like, because it was a depressing moment, it was slow. Like, I'm not knowing that millions of people is gonna relate to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at records like Bonanza, that's gonna be the one that makes me the biggest super pop star in the world. Come to find out, Bonanza didn't work till 20 years later when TikTok was invented.
Amazing.
Amazing, right?